Good evening, family members. This is your captain speaking. Everybody kindly rise to their feet and practice your youth and longevity strategy. This is the beginning. If you're young and you know it, say yes. Yes. All right. Let's see if we can go to the next level. Move up and down. Wave your arms in the air. Say, I just don't care. Just kidding, okay? Good job, good job. Excellent. You guys did that well. Thank you for playing along. That was fun, wasn't it, Dorothy? Yeah. Excellent. I am going to step down and let Dorothy come up because she's 94. Anybody in here? Yes? Yeah. Good job. Anybody else got that beat? No? Okay. Point taken. Point noted. Point taken. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We've got a great workshop for you tonight. This one is on anti-aging. And how many of you guys would like to look and feel 10 years younger? Say aye. Aye. All right. That makes all of us. And so I enjoy this topic. I've done a lot of research, I would say, over the last year. And everything I'm going to share with you is rock solid. It's, lots of research facilities, lots of universities, lots of authors, medical experts, all really kind of pointing to the same thing. So you're gonna drink from that fountain of youth tonight. I'm gonna share that with you, share what I've been employing myself. So we all know what the most common signs of aging are, and some of us are feeling that more than others. And so we know what that is, but the question is, what happens a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? And, whatever happens 10 years from now, it's because of, what we do today, what we do or don't do today, what we learn, or really more importantly, what we apply. It's not what you learn. It's not knowledge that's power. It's what? Applied knowledge that's power. So my wish and my prayer is that there's application with what you learned tonight because it's very, very valuable. And really, I just want you to start, thinking about what's coming down the pike. Your best years yet await you. So here's how we know if we're aging well or not. You get old when you stop thinking about the what? When you stop thinking about the future. Do you have things that you look forward to still? Or are your good old days behind you? Remember you might have been the, you had the football scholarship, you were the quarterback, or you were the prom queen, like those were the good old days. And you still tell those stories like the best part of your life was behind you. I hope that's not you. I hope you have a vision for your future because you always want to make your future bigger than your what? Than your past, right? So if you still talk about your dreams, your aspirations, what you're still looking forward to, then you are young. And so that's important. You have to have those plans, those visions, those things that you look forward to. Put it out there. This past December, I do this every year. I've been doing it the last several years with my family. We actually do goal setting. We have a family retreat, a goal setting retreat. This year, we went to downtown Fort Lauderdale. We booked a boardroom that was overlooking Las Olas and the river. And I had my 3 boys and my wife and just all of us, just family setting our goals for the year. It was powerful. And they're learning good stuff. And everybody had goals. And the year before, my kids and I, we went to another place. And I tell you, it's so important. I can't emphasize that enough. So 7 keys to stopping the clock. We're going to cover 7 things tonight that really will make a profound difference on how you age and the quality of your life a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Are you with me so far? Yes. So yes? Okay. Okay, key number 1, continue to learn and grow. You are either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. And nobody wants to be ripe and rotting. We know that dementia and Alzheimer's is on an all-time record-setting pace right now. The statistics, if you don't know this, it's 1 out of 9 adults over the age of 65 are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, 1 out of 2 over the age of 85. Did you know that? So, This is one of the conditions that can significantly be prevented, reducing the risk of that, but you have to start many, many years before it's diagnosed. By the time it's diagnosed, it's already been in the making for well over a decade. We know that now. So again, it's what you do now. So one of the things that you're doing right now is learning and growing. You're at the workshop tonight, right?
Yep.
Are you going to be at the workshop next month? What are we doing next month? Blood sugar control. You know, so whether or not you have diabetes, or you want to control your blood sugar, or you want to prevent dementia, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, if you want to lose weight, that's the place to be. So next month, that's our workshop. This is one of my favorite pictures. A couple of you are in this picture from 2007. This was almost 15 years ago. And I showed this last year because, you see, the happy attendees there. And let's see, there's David. You see him in the blue shirt there. He's a little bit heavier. He still has his blue shirt. Bela, you're in the back there somewhere. You're all the way in the back there somewhere. Denise, you're in the back. You're in the back there. So, this is our culture of constant and never-ending improvement. If I ask you guys, those of you who have been here since 2007 and before, how many workshops have you been to? Probably easy 60, 70, 100 plus. Why? Because the mindset is when you stop learning, you stop growing, and when you stop growing, you start what? Dying. Yeah. So I've always said that. They remember that. They're always here, and you always learn something new. I don't expect you guys to get everything from tonight. It's just like drinking from a fire hose, right? But every time you come back, you will get something new, and you implement it, and there, all of a sudden, you have this wealth of knowledge that you're applying in your life. And then 10, 15 years goes by, and what happens, David? You tell me all the time. You look around at all your friends, family. Everybody's on more medication. You're on less. Everybody has all these health problems, running to doctors, having surgeries. You have less. And that's where the difference is. Let a few years go by and watch how this works for you. How many of you guys get our weekly emails? You get my Facebook posts, you watch the videos, not just the workshop videos. Sometimes I'll put out little quick videos. Good. If you don't, let us know. It's important. We want to keep you in the loop with all this. So keep learning, keep growing. The second one is sleep hygiene. How many of you have a good sleep schedule? Raise your hand. How many of you guys, you could use some work on that? Go to sleep different times every night. Some nights good, some nights not as good. Some days you wake up feeling like a spring chicken. Some days you wake up feeling like a truck ran over you, right? Sometimes we're all over the place. So I'm going to give you a few things to think about that are really important. First of all, when you don't have good sleep habits, it's conducive to brain shrinkage. The hippocampus, the part of the brain that is for learning and memory, actually starts to shrink up when you are sleep deprived. One of the other things that happens is a hormone called cortisol starts to go up. That's the stress hormone. When you're under a lot of stress, cortisol goes up. When cortisol goes up, it affects your blood sugar. It affects the blood supply going to the brain. When you're affecting the blood supply going to the brain, what happens? You start having cognitive decline. That's the beginnings of dementia, Alzheimer's disease. So all these things it's like a cascade effect, not to mention diabetes, weight gain, and then of course also it puts you in a state of fight and flight, where it causes something called autonomic imbalance. We talked about it at the last workshop. How many of you guys remember that? The autonomic imbalance, where you're sympathetic dominant, it weakens your immune system, increases your risk of cancer, heart attacks, strokes. So not a good place to be. And a lot of the degenerative diseases that people suffer from would improve if they just simply got on a sleep schedule. So what do we need to do? Almost all research that I'm seeing right now seems to point to 8 hours a night. Give or take 8 hours a night, 7.5 hours. You don't want to sleep more than 9, 10 hours. Then that has, the opposite effect. But somewhere around 7 to 8 hours a night seems to be the sweet spot where all the same literature is pointing to. And it's got to be consistent. It is important. And I see a difference myself. I can't function without sleep. I cannot function without sleep. I'm just like, my brain stops working, my mouth stops moving, I can't form thoughts, sentences. It's like I go on autopilot. And I can't afford to work like that, can you? So I make it a point to, have a schedule. Like I start winding down, I'm on my floor doing the home care, usually around 8:30. And then, we gather up the kids, we're praying by 9 o'clock, we pray together, give them a kiss goodnight, then I head to my bedroom, brush my teeth, I'm in bed probably within minutes, and I'm on my back with my head on my pillow by 9:15. I read a little bit, I turn my phone on a setting where it's like red light instead of the white LED shining in my eyes, because that will disrupt your REM sleep. So that's one of the things that's important, that you eliminate that light before you go to sleep. But anyway, I'll read a little bit right before I go to sleep, and I'm usually sleeping by 9:30. If I read for 5-10 minutes, that's it, I'm out. And then, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, I'm usually up at the same time, all the time. Your body gets on this rhythm, this schedule. How many of you guys have ever noticed that? You've been able to do that, and you see the benefits of that? If somebody tries to ruin my schedule, let's say on a Friday night, if we go out, or if we're out of town, if we're on a vacation or whatever, watch a movie, stay up an extra hour, thinking like, oh, tomorrow's Saturday, it's fine, I could sleep in. What happens? No, body wakes you up at the same time. You can't fool the innate intelligence. So it's important that we're on a what? Consistent schedule. The other thing that's important is to make sure that your room is cold. It should be dark. You have to block out all the lights, and you're supposed to bring the temperature down. Your body temperature will peak. It will be elevated by a couple of degrees by the time 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning comes, when you throw the covers off. But you should make sure that that room gets nice and cool. Experts, a lot of them say 68 degrees. I don't have my room at 68 degrees. If you have it in the low 70s, that's probably good enough. And if you have lots of blankets, you're good. No TV or LED devices right before you go to sleep. If you do, you should be wearing those blue blocker glasses that block the LED light. Otherwise, it disrupts your sleep. You could sleep for 8 hours, but still wake up feeling like you didn't sleep well. And this could be one of the reasons. It was for me. No caffeine after 1 o'clock. Caffeine has a very long half-life. So if you're having afternoon coffee with caffeine, that could be a problem also. No food 3 hours prior to bed. Your body can't be resting and digesting food at the same time, right? That's not a reasonable thing to ask of your body. You should be making sure that that food is digested before you hit the head. Exercise and sauna use will also improve your sleep. Did you know that? Yeah. The days that you don't exercise, you won't sleep as long and you won't sleep as well. The days you do exercise, you will. Sauna has the same effect because it elevates your heart rate, and it almost is, in some way, shape, or form, it has the same effect on your body as exercise, but not 100%. Neuromag is a supplement that sometimes I will recommend to patients who have trouble falling asleep, and because it's a type of magnesium. How many of you guys know magnesium has benefits for your blood pressure, for this, that? But there's one type of magnesium that actually can cross the blood-brain barrier and actually have therapeutic effects on your brain, and that's magnesium threonate. Everybody say threonate. Threonate. If you don't have magnesium threonate, you're not getting the brain soothing effects that will help you sleep. So this is what we have in the office. This is what I recommend to my patients that do have issues with falling asleep. It's called Neuromag. It has the magnesium threonate in it, and it does work. So, question, what will, or will not, you be able to do 10 years from now, right? So, 10 years from now, you want to be doing a lot of the same things that you're doing right now, right? What do you enjoy doing? What are your hobbies? What are the things that you like to enjoy? Your family, like your family came in and visited Beatrice, right? And what'd you do? You went to the beach, and we all have these things. Well, maybe we want to go for a long walk on the mall with our family, or we want to, go through Disney World, or we want to be able to pick up our brand new grandchild or great grandchild, God willing, right? And so what happens when the grandchildren get older and they weigh like 20 pounds? Are you going to be able to pick them up? So if your muscles are atrophying 15% a year, every year, 30 years from now, are you going to be able to do those things? Probably not. So how you exercise what? Now depends on what you're going to be able to do then. So the question is, what are you doing in terms of resistance training to keep your muscle strength? Aerobic exercise in and of itself cannot do that. There are different benefits, and that's what I want to point out to you. Holy smokes, look at these guys. That guy on the bottom right, you know how old he is? 89 years old. It's the world's oldest bodybuilder. She's 87, oldest female bodybuilder. I don't know who that guy is, but he looks pretty old. And then we have Jack LaLanne up there, right? Everybody knows Jack LaLanne. He exercised, he was lifting weights into his mid-90s. So what do all these people have in common? A consistent resistance training schedule. Resistance training. And you know, you could use weights, or you can use body weights, doing push-ups and sit-ups and wall squats and things like that. But resistance training is different from brisk walking. Everybody understands that, right? You have to work on your muscle strength, because the benefits from that are going to translate to a lower risk of dementia, falls, which is the #1 killer for elderly. Once those falls happen, it's all downhill from there. Osteoporosis it prevents, skin wrinkling, hormonal changes. When you're doing resistance training, you're tapping into the fountain of youth hormone, which is human growth hormone, and testosterone. And that's what creates the muscle, and those hormones are what put pep in your step, right? So there's significant value to this form of exercise, which is probably the most overlooked and commonly overlooked point of the exercise conversation that we have. Because most of us just think, oh, we'll just exercise. We'll just go to our aerobics, or we'll go for a brisk walk or a bike ride. And those things are important and they're good, but they're not the same as resistance training. So when we look at this, there has to be resistance training, and I am going to recommend that you get a set of heavy hands, dumbbells. Go over to Walmart. It doesn't matter if they're 2 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever it is. And just start doing that at least a couple of times a week. Because all of these things that when we see our health start to decline, a lot of it can be traced back to doing one simple thing, which will slow the aging process considerably, significantly. So aerobic and resistance training, I would recommend exercising every day. Just think of your exercise as a drug. You take your blood pressure medication every day. You don't skip days. You don't take it 3 days a week, right? People take diabetes medication. They don't take it 3 times a week. You take it what? Every day. But when you're exercising every day, you get the anti-aging benefits injected into your bloodstream literally every single day. Your body chemistry, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, your brain chemistry, your neurons, the neuroplastic effects your brain actually making and learning in a new fashion, the expansion that occurs in your brain from that. You're able to learn new skills. You're able to take your mental and your physical health to a whole new level. And there's really no limit on it with your age. So the Journal of the American Medical Association said that cardiorespiratory fitness is inversely associated with long-term mortality, which means that the more your cardiorespiratory fitness level increases, the more your chronological age literally goes down. I mean, you have your chronological age, but your fitness age starts to come down. And so, for example, this guy is 105 years old, but his heart is working like somebody who's 60 years old. So he's a French cyclist, and I thought that would work on here. It should work. No? Well, okay. That'll save us some time. But anyway, the clip showed him, cycling around the track, and his trainers. He has 2 trainers, and one trainer was talking about his resting heart rate while he was doing his laps around the track, setting a world record. It never got over 100 beats per minute, and his resting heart rate is at like 60 beats per minute. So this is what the journal published. It doesn't matter how old you are, your cardiorespiratory fitness will continue to improve. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, it'll continue to show benefit. So we're running out of excuses here. We're supposed to be doing all these things. Another one is eliminate toxins. And just one of the toxins that I want to talk about is pharmaceuticals. Now, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place where we need over-the-counter or prescription medication. However, I know lots of patients that I've taken care of and lots of people where they're on these medications, and the more medications that they take, the more side effects that they have and the more cognitive decline that we see that goes with that. Anxiety and insomnia medications having memory impairing side effects. There's drug interactions, antidepressants, corticosteroids, pain medications, chemotherapy drugs, statins. All these things, if you look them up, it will point to effects on the brain and memory loss. And the longer that somebody is on it, the harder it is to stop it. And there are long-term effects. And if that's something that we're trying to prevent and avoid, that's something that we really need to take inventory of. How do you take inventory of that? You open up your medicine chest. So that's all I'm going to say about that. When the student is willing, the teacher appears. Everybody's different, but prescriptions are not natural. They don't hang off a tree or grow off a vine or grow out of the ground. They're not natural. They're synthetic. They are toxic. And in the end, all drugs are toxic. And the idea is for the person who is more naturally oriented to do everything that they can lifestyle-wise to allow their body to depend less and less on those. Does that kind of make sense? Reasonably speaking, yes. Again, not saying that there's not a time and a place, but the longer you work on these things, the less dependent you are on them. So start eliminating these things. The formaldehyde in the mattresses, there's lead in paints that they used to use, houses that we live in, and the walls are covered up in it. There's lead in all kinds of stuff in our water supply. There's lead in lipsticks, cosmetics, our cleaning supplies, soap, deodorant, toothpaste, has all types of things, sodium lauryl sulfates. If you're not buying natural forms of these personal hygiene products, then you're allowing more toxins to enter your body. The problem is not with toxins going into your body. Your body knows how to detoxify, right? The problem is when more goes in than your body can actually get out, then you have a toxic burden that starts resulting in health problems and symptoms. And so, amalgam fillings, and if you don't know about that, if you've got a lot of those, and this is something that if you haven't heard about it, you should learn more about it because it does have the ability to affect your brain. And again, when we talk about dementia, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, this is a huge factor. Thimerosal, which is mercury in vaccines, childhood vaccines, flu vaccines, things like that. Again, it's cumulative. It's all over the course of a lifetime. Then we have all our herbicides and pesticides. But the big one now, if you don't know, is glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup. Rod, you've heard of Roundup, right? So what do they put Roundup on? Well, they kill the weeds, the lawn and all, but they put it on all the soy and the what? Corn. Yeah, the two main crops that they put the glyphosate on. And this is all those have been genetically modified so that they can withstand the onslaught of those chemicals. So if you're eating genetically modified corn and soy, which is in pretty much like almost all of our foods today, then again it's getting into your body. And the problem with the glyphosate is serious. The seriousness of it comes down to something called the blood-brain barrier. You ever heard of the blood-brain barrier? Okay, so when that glyphosate goes in, it's open season on your brain, and it just drives all the toxins into your brain. So there was a study done from MIT. This was published years ago. I've shown this to many of you already, which shows the application of glyphosate starting in 1989, ending in 2009. So this was really just a 20-year span that they showed, but they also showed those yellow marks going up. Those were the deaths of senile dementia. and there was a correlation with the beginning of the increase of the application of the glyphosate onto the corn and the soy. See the correlation there? Okay. So what does that tell us? The more that you're eating of the genetically modified crops, corn, soy, pesticides, herbicides, the more you're increasing your risk of what? Dementia. Got it? Okay, so what's the solution? What do you have to buy to avoid that?
All natural.
Yeah, non-GMO. You have to buy all natural. Look for that stuff. Even if it costs more, your health is worth it. Right or right? Yeah. So signs you're toxic. Remember we said if you have more going in than is actually coming out, and you start experiencing things like fatigue, depression, anxiety, memory loss, insomnia, irritable bowel syndrome, irritable bowel disorder, digestive issues, allergies, headaches, migraines, and muscle pain. These are very, very common symptoms which are usually caused by toxicity. So if you have any of these issues and you're taking remedies or medications, and if you stop taking those remedies or medications and the problem's still there, that means you haven't found the cause of it, right? So how do you find the cause? Well, if an individual is toxic, there are two ways that you can find out. The first one is on the bottom there. It's a meta-oxy test, which is it shows cellular inflammation, and basically there's a little reagent that we have, a little liquid that mixes with your urine. So you get a sample of urine. We do it right here in the office, and then we mix it. You see the color, and it tells you how much cellular inflammation that you have. This is the only test that is really specific for cellular inflammation. So it tells us really how toxic you are. And then we also use it for progress evaluations when people are going through a detox program to see their improvement. The really, really dark shade of red shows that you're really, really toxic. And then the other one above that, almost like an eye chart, it goes right here on your chin. And these cards are about this far from you. And the white cards have these lines that go up and down and in different directions. And you start reading the cards, and then what happens is at a certain point you can't see the lines anymore. You know why? Because toxins affect the optic nerve. So if you are very toxic, you will fail that test. And that's another way that we know. Along with a questionnaire, those three things really help us ferret out if this is what's really at the root cause of your problem. And we do the testing here in the office. If anybody's interested in that, you haven't had that done, ask them before you leave, and they can schedule an appointment to have that done and tell you if that's a problem, and then if there is a problem, we have a solution for it, and it's very effective. Here's the fifth key: lifetime chiropractic wellness care. Now, you may or may not be a believer, but I will tell you this. Take whatever preconceived notions that you have about chiropractic and stuff it under your chair right now. You can take it with you when you leave. But right now, I just want you to set it aside and allow me to share some of the research from the medical community with you on chiropractic care. Is that fair enough? Can we do that? Okay. So this comes from the Journal of the American Medical Association, published back in 1957. Published in the journal, said deviations in the body center of gravity. What is that? That's your posture, yes. Poor posture have resulted in intestinal problems, hemorrhoids, varicose veins, osteoporosis, hip and foot deformities, poor health, decreased quality of life, and a what? Shortened life expectancy, yes. So that means they found a correlation with longevity and people who have good posture. So that has a little bit to do with chiropractic. Yes or yes? All right. So here's another one. Serum thyroids. This was published in the Journal of Anti-Aging Medicine. It's a 2003 study, more than 20 years ago. So they discovered something called serum thiols. What are serum thiols? These are it's a serum. It's basically a measure in your blood of how well your DNA is repairing itself. So when the DNA becomes damaged by antioxidants and toxins and things like that, but it has the ability to repair itself. So the serum thiols give us a reading of how well your body can actually do that. So it's used to gauge aging and disease status. What they discovered was there were very, very low serum thyroid levels in people with 9 different categories of sickness and disease. So they noticed a correlation with disease and low serum thyroid levels. Everybody got that? Okay. So here's a follow-up study published. 76 people in this group. Group 1 received short-term chiropractic care. Group 2 received long-term chiropractic care. Group 3 received no chiropractic care, and they measured the serum thyroid levels in them. Healthy individuals that received chiropractic care for how many years? 2 or more years had higher serum thyroid levels than well patients who did not get chiropractic care, and those with disease. So what does that tell you? That people, what's that? Get adjusted. People get adjusted for longer periods of time. Somehow has an effect on the body for it to be able to heal and repair itself at a genetic level, DNA. Is that important for anti-aging? Yes, absolutely. Here's another one, Journal of Manipulative and Physiologic Therapeutics. They published this study, 311 chiropractic patients ages 65 and older who received what? Maintenance care. What's maintenance care? Coming in even though your back doesn't hurt. Coming in even though you don't have pain, even though you don't have a headache. You just come in because you know it's something that helps keep you healthy, right? Yeah, so they did that for 5 years or longer, and they measured them versus healthy citizens the same age who were not getting adjusted. So what were the results? Chiropractic patients who were under chiropractic care, the maintenance care, for 5 years or longer, had 60% fewer hospital admissions, 65% less surgeries, and 85% less pharmaceutical costs. Wow. If you knew there was a supplement that you could take, just one a day. Here you go, Gary. How long would you take that for? And be like, sign me up. Where can I get some of that, right? Would you ever stop? Of course not. And isn't that true? Because you guys have been patients here longer than a decade. Many of you have been patients here longer than a decade. And I'll bet you that you can look back and say, yeah, that's true. Hardly ever have to go to the doctor. Can't remember the last time I went to the hospital. And I look around and I see all my friends and family. There are lots of problems. Not me, right? Knock on wood? No, not knock on wood. You've been here every week, every couple of weeks, putting your time in, preventing. That's what preventive health care is about. Going for mammograms and prostate exams and annual workups with your blood and stuff like that. I'm not saying don't do that, but that's not really preventative. If they find that stuff after it's already developed, that's not preventative. What's preventative is making sure that your serum thyroid levels are sky high and that your body is functioning and healing at its best potential. Chiropractic your immune system. Did you guys know this? They actually did a study of this at a cancer research center. Did you know that? Yeah, it's true. Dr. Ronald Piero, he conducted this at New York University Cancer Research Center. They studied the immune systems of cancer patients, non-cancer patients, and non-cancer patients under chiropractic care. How long? 5 years or longer. Yeah. Chiropractic patients under care 5 years or longer had immune systems on average, what? 300% stronger, yeah. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Going to doctors less, taking less medications, you get sick less often, your risk of cancer goes down, yada, 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 all down the line. This is what the research shows. And it's not just good for you and me. Did you know celebrity athletes, world's elite athletes, that if there's not an NFL or a Major League Football team or a hockey team or a gold medal Olympian that doesn't get regular chiropractic care. Did you know that, Margo? That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Michael Jordan, he was getting adjusted. Tiger Woods getting adjusted. Dan O'Brien, remember Dan O'Brien? Yeah. He said if it wasn't for chiropractic, he wouldn't have won the gold medal. You obviously can't compete at your fullest if you're not in alignment, and your body can't heal if you're not in alignment. Every track and field athlete that I've ever met has seen a chiropractor at one time or another. It is absolutely essential. Anybody recognize this guy? Aaron Rodgers. Did you know his father was a chiropractor? Or his father is a chiropractor, yeah. Performing at my best is important to me and should be to everyone, not just athletes. Raise your hand if you want to perform at your best. Say aye. Aye. Yeah. Performing at my best is important to me and should be to everyone, says Aaron Rodgers. I'm blessed that my dad is a chiropractor. Getting adjusted regularly, along with practicing other good health habits that my mom helped me to establish, are all part of my goal to win in life and on the field. Are you guys getting this? Yeah. So what is chiropractic about? Is it about back pain? Is it you only go to a chiropractor when you have a car accident? No. You go and get adjusted so you can be all that God created you to be and not 1% less. So you can be the best version of yourself. Right, Mavis? Are you the best you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Raise your hand. Say, yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes. So what's the purpose of a chiropractic adjustment? Hopefully you're getting this now. What is the purpose? What is it when I adjust you? What is the purpose of it? To crack your back? Do you want to hear that crack? Are you addicted to the crack? Come on, pop me here, pop me there. Yahoo! Do I massage your muscles to relieve the spasm? Do I adjust your back to relieve the spasm? Is that the purpose? Is that the real purpose of a chiropractic adjustment? You know the first chiropractic adjustment did not have back pain. The first chiropractic patient didn't have back pain. He was a deaf janitor. His name was Harvey Lillard on September 18th, 1895. On the Ryan block in this building where Dr. Harvey Lillard had his office, he saw the guy, and he bent over, and he felt something pop in his back, and he went deaf. And Dr. Harvey Lillard theorized, well, if something popped, maybe it went out of alignment. Maybe it's interfering with something. And he examined his spine, and he felt a large bump that was out of place. And he started mashing on it. What happened? He felt it move back in place. And then what happened? The guy got his hearing back. That's how the profession of chiropractic was founded, was born. And if you walk down Brady Street in Davenport, Iowa, you will see a big bust on the street of Harvey Lillard, first chiropractic patient. True story, yeah. So, purpose of a chiropractic adjustment is to correct what? Subluxation. What is a subluxation? What is a subluxation? Can anybody tell me what is a subluxation? Misalignment, right? That's one part. Interference, right. Subluxation, a dead person cannot have a subluxation. A subluxation exists where there is not just misalignment of the vertebrae, but it has to interfere with the nerve supply and the transmission of communication from the brain out to the body. There's an inherent wisdom in your body, right, Beatrice? If you cut your skin, it heals. If you break a bone, it heals, right? Your body has an inborn wisdom, an innate intelligence, knows what to do, when to do, where to do it, how much of it to do it with, all the time. It's perfect. It's never less than 100% in the brain. And it's got to get down through the spinal cord and out through the spinal nerves at 100% too. A subluxation will interfere with that. Does that make sense? So a dead person cannot have a subluxation because a dead person does not have that transmission of life. So I cannot adjust a dead person. I could crack a dead person's back. I could crack their neck. Make some noise. But that's not an adjustment, is it? No. So, do I adjust my family? I've adjusted my boys since the day they were born. One of them was in here this afternoon. This little guy, licking his fingers. And so that's a more recent picture. They were all adjusted the day they were born, and they still get adjusted today. The middle one, Josh, he's a chiropractor. He'll be graduating next month, and it's the most important thing in my book for health, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you gave me one choice, if I was deserted on a desert island, and I could only have one thing. Exercise, supplements, good nutrition, or an adjustment. What do you think I'm taking? The adjustment, yeah. You get that right, everything else works right. So the thing I learned this, which had the most impact was, my first patient, which was my dad. Many of you guys know the story of my dad. He had migraine headaches, and it started when he was 17 years old. He dove into a lake, and he hit his head on a cast iron tub that was submerged. And when he woke up in the hospital, they just found that he had migraine headaches. They couldn't control his pain. So they gave him all kinds of medication. And he left the infirmary on 6 different medications. It was bad. But they never found the cause of his headaches. It was a bone out of alignment putting pressure on his brainstem. And I didn't discover this until I was in chiropractic school, which was 40 years later. So we were learning this. If you see this, you see the chart in the upper part there. I circled it so you can see that's the part of the spine that affects the blood supply to the head. That's the part that he injured, shifted out of alignment from the impact. And what do you see the number one side effect of the problem there is headaches, right? So you guys know how the story went. I came home from chiropractic school. I adjusted him. And what happened to his headaches? Gone, just like that. Now, my dad was a medic in the Army, so he had medical knowledge. So he knew that it was important not just to fix it, but he knew it was important to maintain it. So what did he do? He made sure that I constantly followed up and checked him preventatively. Not just while I was in school, but also after I graduated. I graduated 30 years ago, and there's not been a Wednesday morning that he has not driven up from Miami and laid on one of those tables. And how many headaches has my dad had in the last 30 years? 0. And how many medications is he on now at 83 years old? 0. Yeah. And my dad has vigor. He has vim. He is a force to be reckoned with. Not just mentally, but physically as well. He does resistance exercise. He does walking every day. He does mental exercises. He does math. He does SAT questions. He takes SAT tests every day. The mental discipline so that he ages gracefully. So I wanted to share this with you. I put this clip in here of him arm wrestling my youngest son. This was last year. He was 82. And so the comment you might hear my younger son says, "This is for your Mercedes, right?" I think that got my dad amped up a little bit more. I didn't want to part with the title on that.
Hold on. Mercedes is on.
Come on.
Okay. So for many of you, I asked you before the workshop, days leading up to it, do you know what the number one factor is that will accelerate your aging more than anything else? The number one factor: stress, sugar, stress. I got all the answers, and I said, well, there is one more that'll accelerate your aging. It'll cause you to age faster than anything else. Do you know what that is? Subluxation. Now you know what the number one factor is. And the number one anti-aging secret weapon is what? Your regular maintenance chiropractic care. You never unplug from the source, ever. Yep. So if you're a guest in here and you haven't had that done yet, we have these friends and family coupons. You can have the thermal scan done. This is the diagnostics that we do to check your spine if you haven't had that done. So don't leave without getting one of these. Instead of it being $400 and some odd for the exam, the thermal scan, the x-rays, the whole diagnostic workup, all the testing, the consultation with me, instead of it being over $400, it's only $97. So that's an amazing gift that you can give yourself, and thank the person who brought you today. Don't leave without taking one of those, so we can help you if you are not under chiropractic care or you haven't had that checked. Make sure we help you with that tonight, all right? Okay, so let's take a brief break. We only have a few more minutes left, but I do want to recognize a couple of folks here who have put their best foot forward. And, okay. So first category for our recognizing our wonderful dear patients for perfect adjustment attendance. We have 3 people. We have, and when we call your name, if you want to stand up, if you're in the back, Dorothy, everybody give Dorothy a round of applause. And Beatrice and Dudley Allen, yes. Everybody give them a big round of applause. This is for perfect adjustment attendance. Has not yet missed an appointment, and we covet that. We appreciate that because we love seeing our patients get the best results. So keep up the good work, everyone. We love and appreciate you very much. All right, and the next one is our Lifesaver Award. And for our Lifesaver Award, I'm going to bring up Bela and Beatrice. Bela and Beatrice, can you come up? Here. I'll make it easy for you. Come on up. Okay. So this is real interesting. So, okay. Bela was in the picture. So she's been a patient a long time, 15 years maybe more. And she's been telling Beatrice to come to the office for how long now? How many? Years? Years and years. Longer than they can tell. And what did you keep saying? What was your reason for not coming to the office?
I don't have a pain.
You don't have a pain? But finally, Bela got her to come in. What was it that she said that made you decide to come in?
She said that I just got to get adjusted. And I goes, but you don't have a pain. And he goes, well, but this is good for me. And I go, okay, I'm going to give it a try. You know, I don't have a pain, but if it's going to help me out.
And has it helped you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Subluxation.
She started explaining the subluxation, you know, and I go, oh, sounds interesting. Okay, I'll go try it out.
It took 3 years, but you got it.
Yeah, well,
It's better late than never. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And this is the Life Saved, and Bela is the Lifesaver. So we've got a gift for you. We've got a sup and a cup. Everybody give them a round of applause. Thank you. Yes.
Save my youth.
Yes. So simple, right? Not a big, elaborate, intricate, confusing message, right? The simple things were put on this earth to confound the wise. And there you have it, right? All right, I want everybody to stand up for just a minute, and just want you to take a load off and turn to your neighbor to the right. Put your hands on their shoulders, and just squeeze their shoulders. Get some of that stress out. Good. Squeeze the shoulders, wake them up. All right, now we're going to do a karate chop. Good job, good job. Are you all awake? All right, we're in the home stretch. Good. Turn around and love your other neighbor.
I get to abuse the niece now. All right.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Good, actually.
Isn't this fun?
I'm there.
Okay, karate chop. Karate chop. All right. Okay, so you guys are all awake now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We got 10 more minutes, and then we should be done. Okay, let's finish strong. Let's finish strong. All right, so number 6, we have to make some dietary changes. What are the 3 most important dietary changes you need to make? Replace the bad fats with good fats. What are the bad fats that you have to look for on your labels? What? Synthetic butters, margarines, hydrogenated oils, cottonseed, right? The vegetable oils, beware of corn oil, canola oil, yeah. No bueno for the vegetable oils. So beware of these. They cause inflammation. Everybody say inflammation. Inflammation is no bueno for your brain or your arteries or anything. So we want to move away from that and get with the good fats. What are some of the good fats? You guys know all the good fats, right? Salmon, sardines, almonds, avocados, all the good nuts, grass-fed butter, right? Ghee, Kerrygold is good stuff. Yep, we use that. Change the meats. All right, change the meats that you're eating. So, I mean, I will enjoy red meat every once in a while, but if I do, I make sure that it's what? Grass-fed. Try to get grass-fed meat. I had grass-fed, but well, it's not. They don't have grass-fed bison burgers because bison only eat grass. So at Publix they have bison, they have lamb, and this is all grass-fed. And then you have to also have your grass-fed beef. And so you can do really well with that. It won't drive the inflammation like the grain-fed meat will. They use grain and corn to feed chickens, cows, fish. So you have to be aware of all of these food sources and where you're getting it from. So be careful of your meats. Make sure you change it for the better. And then also the dairy, right? So if you're going to have dairy, again, make sure that it is grass-fed. Nothing wrong with butter. Just make sure that it is grass-fed. Everybody's different with how well they handle dairy or not. And, you just have to kind of navigate that for yourself. Get your blood sugar under control. This is hugely important as far as how your brain health is going to manifest, whether it be presently, a year, 2, 5, or 10 years from now. Your blood sugar will drive that into oblivion. Insulin resistance reduces the blood supply to the brain. Yeah. Strongest Alzheimer's correlation have been shown to be correlated with A1C over 6. So you need to watch that A1C. You need to do whatever it takes to get that A1C into normal range. And you can start with medications if it's an emergency, but it's not, the medications are really not going to address the metabolic cause of what's happening. And unfortunately, a lot of people still, get fatty liver disease and die from fatty liver disease and still have all types of other issues to deal with, even when they start bringing their A1C down, because they're not correcting the metabolism by changing the what? The diet. Yeah. Super important, isn't it? Journal of Alzheimer's disease showed that older people who load up their plates with carbohydrates have nearly 4 times the risk of developing cognitive impairment. What do you see in that picture there? Bread, pasta, potatoes. It's same thing. I mean, potatoes may be the more healthy version of those carbs. They still have the same effect. I'd be really careful, depending on your ability to handle carbohydrates, on even the potatoes. Be careful with that. I have found personally, and I have a very low tolerance for carbohydrate metabolism, but I have found that rice is tolerable. Like basmati rice and jasmine rice has a much lower glycemic effect on your blood sugar than sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, red potatoes. Forget about the bread, the pasta. We should maybe enjoy that once in a while. I'm not saying don't ever have it. I don't want to rain on your parade, but to have it, regularly during the week, not a good idea if you're trying to improve your health, right? So what's an ideal food pyramid? What you're looking at here, when you see this food pyramid, what do you not see in that food pyramid? What do you not see in that? Right, you don't see grains. You don't see, like we were taught in elementary school, that should be like the bottom part of the pyramid. But you don't see that here. This is an ideal food pyramid right here. You got your greens and your meats and your fats. All your fats, your meats, and your greens, that should be the biggest part of your diet, and that's what keeps your blood sugar in check. And it's anti-inflammatory. And you need these good, healthy fats for your arteries, for your cells. Every cell membrane in your body is made up of fat. Your brain is made up of fat. And it's one of the biggest things that can be affected by the smallest little change if you just focus on the good fats and start to increase that. That's why we test for that in the office, by the way. Many of you guys know that every year, once a year when we take an x-ray and we evaluate, we do the comprehensive evaluation every year on your maintenance plan, we take a blood sample from your fingertip and we look at your omega levels, your omega fat levels. It's that important because this is where the rubber meets the road. You have to make sure that you're having enough of those omega fats because every cell membrane should have somewhere between 8 and 12% of that cell membrane, the EPAs. So start to dig in with that, the good meats, the greens, you guys know you're supposed to be doing that. And then you see the dairy, that you can add some of that in, grass-fed, low sugar fruits and vegetables, more healthy fats with the nuts. You see chocolate there? What? You see chocolate there? Are we allowed to have chocolate? What kind of chocolate? Like a Hershey's bar? Snickers bar? No, we're talking about cacao, right? Cacao, it's almost like the bitter chocolate. Yeah, so it's not super sweet, but in all the studies that I read and all the all the people that have success with this, like just one little square, and that's it, just to satisfy your craving. Number 7 is what? Hydration. So yeah, part of aging gracefully is looking youthful, and that comes down to taking care of your skin. And there's lots of ways to do that. One of the easiest ways is to make sure that you're well hydrated. We talked about sleep. A lot of the runway models, people who do magazine shoots, if they have to do that the next day, the day before, they'll make sure they make a point of sleeping like 10 hours. Because when they wake up, their skin does look different. It looks more radiant. So, super easy thing that we should all be doing is having like at least 1 liter your body weight in liters, in fluid ounces. I'm sorry. I'm just stuck on the liter thing because that's what I carry around with me. And my goal is 3 liters a day. So if you just take whatever your body weight is and you translate that to fluid ounces, that's really what you should be doing to hydrate. And how do you know if that's working or not? You look at your urine. Is your urine yellow or is it clear? If it's yellow, you're not well hydrated. If it's clear, you are. And you will see a difference in your skin, your eyes. You'll be able to focus. Your vision will actually improve. It's one of the things that, throws you for a loop. Sometimes you wake up, one eye is blurry, and you're like, man, I got to go back to the ophthalmologist. Maybe not. Maybe you just didn't drink enough water the day before. Maybe you're dehydrated. It does affect your vision, affects your skin, affects all the mucosal membranes. So half your body weight in fluid ounces. All right. So this is your homework. I'm not going to read through this. It's in your handout, but also all of the good foods there that will show you what to do to focus on developing healthy skin. Easy stuff. But that's your homework. Promise to read through it? Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to focus on just a few supplements, and then we're going to finish up. Glutathione. Has anybody heard of glutathione? Okay, this is an antioxidant in your body. And what do antioxidants do? They quench up free radicals. Free radicals destroy and annihilate your DNA. And that'll cause aging faster than just about anything. So we already know this. We've had several medical doctors expound on this. And as far as DNA damage, we see that happening where there's a lack of glutathione. So there's been a lot of emphasis put on this, a lot of clinics revolving around this now, medical clinics. And Dr. Oz did a spot on this.
Banbury is the most powerful antioxidant that you have never heard of. It's one of the keys to fighting off the diseases that you fear the most. It is called glutathione. Now write it down because it's critically important. And here to tell us about it is the director of Yale University's Prevention Research Center and my good friend Dr. David Katz. So glutathione has been described in many places as the superhero of antioxidants. But why is that? How come no one's ever heard of it before?
Because unlike most antioxidants people think about getting in a supplement, this one the body makes. That's the reason people haven't heard about it. It's going on all the time. It's also the reason why it really is the most important antioxidant. It's the one that the body relies on itself to clean up critical toxins. So it's being manufactured all the time, and the body makes critical use of this to defend us against a variety of toxins.
So I've got a little demonstration. So I'm going to make this really clear, folks. This is absolutely simple. You know how I talk about all the things to do in your life, right? The foods to eat, the antioxidant vitamins to take. They all work through this. In the body, you've got glutathione. And you also have lots of cells. Looks just like this, right? And so you've got these green normal cells, and you also have toxic cells. Some of these are from outside your body. Some of them are cells of your own that have been damaged by free radicals, and they've been oxidized. Damaged by the sun, damaged from foods, whatever. If you put in the normally existing glutathione in your body, it will soak up a lot of these bad boys, take them away, just like that. Now, if you don't have enough of the glutathione, now you put it in there, and you'll be lucky if you just get one of these toxic cells out. So you lose the powerful, natural ability of your body to heal itself. And we always brag about how the body can help you almost always recover, but only if you help it do that for you. That's what the segment.
Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what glutathione does. That's why glutathione is important. Does your body make its own glutathione? It does, but it needs a precursor, and it's called N-acetylcysteine. And so, you get it through some foods, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. But one of the reasons why I use the Ultraplex Complete Clean is because it has a significant amount of that N-acetylcysteine in it. And for what we're talking about here tonight, we got into a little bit of the toxicity part and detoxing. This is something that will support your body with a low-level phase 2 liver detox for it every single day. Now, in addition to that, it's got a full spectrum of multivitamins in it, and it's got a significant amount of protein in it. It's good. It's rice and pea protein, but it's 26 grams of protein. I actually have this after I exercise in the morning. So you kill a lot of birds with one stone, and this is what I call the breakfast of champions. So you can mix it with water, 2 scoops of water, 2 scoops of almond milk, coconut milk. You can make smoothies with it. There's a lot you can do with it, but it's very rich in nutrients, And as far as supporting detox, protecting your DNA, anti-aging, fits in very well. Something else that I want to bring to your attention, which I've never talked about before, this is the first workshop that I'm going to talk about this, because I started learning about this about 7 months ago, and I started taking this one particular supplement called NMN. And there was a little bit of controversy around it, and I went and did my own research, and the more I looked into it, the more that it all pointed to the fact that if you're over 60 years old, you can benefit from this, definitely. Might be able to benefit if you're a little younger. I mean, I'm 55, but I'm still taking it because it makes so much sense. There's a lot of research behind this. This is one of the publications it was put out in a year and a half ago. They found that it actually extends lifespan. Now, they didn't find it extending the lifespan in humans yet. They found it with laboratory animals. However, other studies that have been done, I'm going to show you the benefits that consistently point back to it supporting points from this. NAD is called nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Can everybody say that with me 3 times fast? No. Don't worry about it. Just remember NAD. That's what you need in your body. All your cells need that. And what happens is, as you get older, it depletes with aging. And what happens is when it depletes, then it exposes you to more damage to the mitochondria, which is the energy factory in your cells, oxidative stress, DNA damage, cognitive impairment, inflammatory conditions. NMN is the precursor for this NAD that your body actually makes for the cells. So by taking NMN, it helps your body make more of this NAD, and if you can replenish this inside the cells, it can prevent the DNA damage. It helps with energy. It helps with your metabolism. It helps with your vision. It helps with a lot of different things. So the question is, how do you elevate these NAD levels inside your cells? That's a good question, right? So these are the therapeutic effects which I have seen over and over and over in my quest to find out if this is something that people should actually be doing. Immune support protects the telomeres. You know, the telomeres are the ends of the DNA. Does everybody remember that? The ends of the DNA. So they're like copies, and when they start wearing out, that's it. And they get shorter and shorter, that's when your candle burns out. So it protects the telomeres, it protects your DNA. I've seen it point to preventing macular and retinal degeneration. It reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, which gives you cardiovascular protection against cardiovascular disease. It supports insulin sensitivity, which helps with your metabolism, fat metabolism, obesity, diabetes. It's protective against that. Neuroprotection. It protects and supports with cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, neurodegenerative disorders. So there's a lot going on with this, and I think it's worth investigating in. I've been taking this supplement, like I said, for probably the last 6 or 7 months, and I'm going to continue taking it. So I'm sharing it with you because I find it working well for me, and I've been doing a lot of research on it. There's a lot of research out there, and this is a quality product from Thorne, which is a world-class. We didn't have it with Ultraplex. They don't have a source for us. So that's why you don't see a green label. But Thorne is world-class when it comes to the quality of their nutrients. So this is what I would recommend if you're interested in doing this. Something to stimulate the production of NAD in your body, in the cells, supports a healthy cellular aging. And it also has quercetin in it, which helps to rid your body of cellular senescence, which is the old damaged cells, which are dead and they're on their way out, and it helps to clear them out and make room for the new healthy cells. So it's a good concoction that they have with this one particular thing, this resveratrol. So I put that in the supplement suite. So the supplements that we recommend for anti-aging, we've already gone over the Complete Clean, how that benefits with glutathione support. There's the resveratrol helps to support with your body. It gives you the precursor for your body to make the NAD, just like with glutathione. You have the N-acetylcysteine as the precursor to help your body make glutathione. Is that making sense to everybody? Okay, so again, your body knows what to do. But if you give it a little help with these nutrients, it'll replenish more effectively and more efficiently. And again, helps with the detox and the aging process, the anti-aging process. And then a couple others which are very important for anti-aging. Preventing cancer, killing cancer stem cells, is curcumin. It's a natural anti-inflammatory, and it has the most research-backed, evidence-based backed research on cancer prevention. So this is a very important supplement as far as aging. And then joint performance. Many of you have started with this with your care plan when I started adjusting you. And maybe you had it for 90 days, or maybe you haven't continued with it. Some of you guys have never taken it before. I take a couple of these every day. So there's a formula in there for joint performance, joint healing, joint function, synovial fluid in the joints. Again, for aging, doesn't get much better than that. So these are, the best of the best when it comes to feeling great, staying young, doing the things that science points to, really make a smart decision doing that. And, again, do this now so that you understand, that you're doing the best that you can in terms of what's coming down the pike for next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That's why you do this stuff. All these points, everything. 15% off all of the supplements tonight only. We only discount at the workshops to incentivize you. Obviously, more important than learning what you're learning is what? Making application, right? So take advantage of it. The supplies are limited. So did you guys learn something important tonight? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you're here. This is what I love doing. I love adjusting, but I also love adjusting above the spine. The mental adjustment, the learning, the encouragement. And, if you have an opportunity somewhere, whether it's at your church or your religious organization or at home, you get a group of people together, I'll come and I'll teach you stuff. I don't care where, when, whatever topic you want. I want to be a blessing to you. So wherever, I can use the talents and the gifts that God has given me, I'll show up and do it. So I'm going to plant that seed, and I want you to leave thinking about that. If there's an opportunity, you let me know. We did that. We came to your church not too long ago, down in my church. There's different places that I go. And if you didn't know that, then let me know if there's an opportunity. And we'll work on that. And we'll see if we can, again, pay this forward and continue to work on our community and, reach each person one spine at a time, right? Yeah. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I love and appreciate you. God bless. Whatever you need up front, tell them, whether it's, your friends and family coupon for your spinal exam, your toxicity testing, or the supplements, whatever you need, they'll take care of you before you go. All right? Love and appreciate you guys. Thank you again.